Hello there, I'm Kios the Ronin Beatmaker, and welcome to Lounge Ronin. All things, everything. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And on this episode, we're going to discuss Black video game versus woke right. Now, we're going to be focusing particularly on one person here in particular, as you see in the thumbnail. And I've noticed from this particular YouTuber and video game woke right pop culture commentator, he particularly does not like games that feature black individuals. So I figured we'd break down his recent race complaints and see what all the fuss is about. Now this is Edmion. Like I said, he's a pop culture commentator or woke right pop culture commentator for video games, and he's recently been championed on like Yellow Flash and all these various woke right pop culture commentators discussing this whole DEI and wokeification of video games and black people in video games. But here he says, fun fact, not only is this a Sweet Baby game, its original pitch was altered by Kim Belair, the co-founder of Sweet Baby Inc. The team behind this game was not okay with the change in direction, and it led to many devs leaving. This game was simply changed for DEI purposes. Shoulder shrug. So this is the game. The game is called South by Midnight. Now, I don't know if you noticed anything about this game. Um, Seems like he has one issue with a particular character in the game. There she is. It's a black woman down south in the bayou. So we don't really know what happened with this game. All right, he just tells you the team behind this game was not okay with the change in direction. We don't even know what the change in direction was. So for all we know, the game would have had the game's lead could have just been a black woman to begin with, and maybe they changed other aspects of the game. We don't really know. Uh, and he's just saying the game was simply changed for DEI purposes. We don't know that. Now, if you're not familiar with Sweet Baby Inc., Sweet Baby Inc. is essentially a cultural Marxist organization that goes around in video game companies and essentially um, communizes the video games. So if you were someone who was hyped for the Suicides Kill the Justice League and you saw how that whole scenario played out, Sweet Baby Inc. was instrumental in turning that game into a very Marxist, ideologically driven game that completely expelled the whole DC mythos for ideology and just poor storytelling, poor game. The whole thing was a catastrophe, and this really goes into the corporatization of video games. And so this is a problem with channels like him. So to show you real quick, this is his YouTube page. So his YouTube page is just, everything is, is racist. It's all dead. It's no. Okay. So in total, his whole page is just everything's racist. It's all dead, regret. He's just another one of those woke right pop culture channels where he's just everything is horrible, is cringe. They hate white people. They're erasing white people. They're making everything gay. All that nonsense. But I wanted to just point this out for everyone that, like, Edmion, all of these woke right pop culture commentators on YouTube, like, they just are racist. They're just racist. They're racist. They're probably a little sexist. Clearly, they don't like the gays. They don't like the alphabet community, and that's fine. Everyone has their opinions, but it gets to the point where it's like everything to you is DEI. Everything is, oh my God, there's a black person in the game. It must be DEI. There was literally a game that came out a couple months ago that was based off of African mythology, and they spin it around as some kind of DEI game that hates white people when the game is solely based off of African mythology. It has nothing to do with white people. So this is the thing that I'm saying here is Edmi on here. He doesn't like games that have black leads in it. He was one of the same people in the front freaking out over Yasuke in the Assassin's Creed game, freaking out over that. He's no different than Grums, no different than any of those woke right pop culture commentators. So he's gonna say that this game is gonna suck because of DEI. We don't even know what the game is about. We don't know the gameplay. Maybe they did release gameplay stuff. Maybe it actually is a good game. We don't know. But this is the problem with them. So if you remember when all the planes were having severe malfunctions and all that crazy stuff, and right before it, you had the airlines promoting promoting inclusivity, promoting gay pilots, women pilots, black pilots, all that shit. They were doing all of that. And remember, do you guys remember how everyone was freaking out and saying, "See, the reason why these planes don't work well or anything is because you're hiring black people and gay people to fix the planes and to fly the planes." They were literally saying that. They were literally saying the reason why these things are happening to the planes and the airlines is because you're hiring black people and gay people who aren't qualified. And then what happened? We had a whistleblower come out, tell us, oh, Boeing knew about all of these problems and they were actively um, trying to not fix these problems and actually cut corners. And they were trying to also cut corners in terms of the what's the word I'm looking for? The troubleshooting and safety regulations. They were completely cutting corners. It was the CEOs of Boeing that were cutting corners. And what happens when the whistleblower comes out and said that? He is found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Week before that, he told his neighbor, "Hey, if anything happens to me, I'm not someone who's one to take his own life." And then now another whistleblower comes out, and then what happens to him? They take him out as well. So turns out it had nothing to do with hiring gays or blacks to fly in fixed planes or women to fly fixed planes. It was actually the CEOs of Boeing who are extremely corrupt and dangerous and malicious, and they were out here spitting, "Oh, it's the gays, it's the blacks," and here you have right here with Edmion and Grums out here. Anytime a video game that has a black lead, they're gonna call it DEI. Just wait until they get a hold of Call of Duty Black Ops 6. The main character you play as is a black dude in the 90s. And they're going to probably spin it somehow that's saying, well, actually, black people weren't really working as CIA operatives in the 90s. It's like, come on, guys. We get it. You don't like black people in games. All right, we get it. So anytime there's a black game that comes out or a character, one of the leads is black, guys like him, Edmion, are gonna call it, oh, it's you're erasing black people from video games. Or you're erasing white people from video games. So I wanted to bring this to you guys' attention that you cannot trust these channels. You cannot trust these type of people. They're not good people. He's verified on Twitter. Grums is verified on Twitter. They're making money being a bunch of racist little bitches about games. They're woke right. These guys are woke right. They whine and complain and bitch and moan no different than the left. And I apologize for cursing. I'm not one for cursing, but like I'm sorry, but this is just so pathetic to me. It's childish. And these are the people that are championing the video game community. They want to make the video game community better. Yeah, they're out here actively wanting to censor video game companies because they made a bunch of bullets with gay flags on them and trans flags. And I covered that in my live stream. And I said it there. You could put Kunta Kente cloth designs on the bullets. Who cares? We know that these corporate companies don't care about us. And that's why I find it hilarious that these guys out here are like are complaining about these AAA games and they're race baiting, gender baiting, gender baiting, virtue signaling, trying to profit off of people, and they're complaining about it. Yet the exact same time they're like, don't buy their games, don't buy their games. Okay then, quit bitching about the game. Make up your mind. So this I just want people to be aware, these type of cats, they're not genuine people, they're not authentic people. They don't like black people in games. They just don't. The game could have nothing to do with white people. It could be a game based off of African mythology, like there was a game that came out recently and they made it all about race. A black game, an African game about African mythology, had nothing to do with white people. And the woke right, the white people of the woke right, made it all about them and calling it racist. So people like this guy Edmion Grums, all of them. Don't be showing your support to them because they're not genuine people. They're authentic. They're inauthentic. They're just grifters, and they're not and of the worst kind. Okay, because they actually like to inflame and divide the community and call everything racist. Oh, they don't like white people in the video games anymore. All this stuff. It's getting tiresome. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention. Don't support these people. If you want to, fine, that's of your own volition, but I really highly recommend, if you want to support them when they are on the right side of something that actually genuinely makes sense and actually affects the community as a whole. But when they start doing their race baiting, their gender grifting, their cultural grifting, their history grifting, since apparently they're also history buffs, call them out on it because they're just manipulating you. They're domesticating your belief system into their own, and their own belief system isn't genuine, isn't authentic, and it just makes them money. You don't need to do that to yourself. Don't allow them to exploit you in such a manner. It's disgusting. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Lounge Ronin. All things, everything. If you've made it this far, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And until next time, stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and much love.